Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Court of Swords. It's week 28, I think.
28. It is. It is
We just
indeed.
played
It's
like
only
2 days ago,
because
so
it's been 2 days, dude.
I don't
I
even want to
pretended
talk to
like I knew.
Max or Adam or Dick. 'Cause nothing's happened in your lives. We lead boring lives. We just stream. That's
No,
all we do.
it hasn't been very long since we last talked.
No, not at all. Have you seen any movies? Did anyone go see anything new? I don't think anything new has happened.
Nope.
See,
I
boring
got
lives.
the
I don't
book.
even know why I have to ask.
This is
I
why we
know.
play role-playing games, so we can pretend to be interesting people.
Exactly. It's special guest time. For the next 3 weeks, we've got Morgan Webb joining us.
Hi guys.
That's her giving the thumbs up. I like it. Morgan, you want to give a quick intro just to everyone out there, for maybe those that for some reason never watched any of the old G4 stuff, or just don't know who you are, never watched Acquisitions Incorporated?
Oh yeah, so forever I was on a video game show. It was like video game journalism, video game reviews. We talked to a lot of developers, and I've always been a gamer and I've loved being a gamer and love board games and tabletop games and D&D. So I've been doing Acquisitions Incorporated off and on for a little while, which has been great fun. And after the last one, I was excited that you guys asked me to be on. I'm honored to be here.
Well, cool. I don't really know. Adam, do we need to do any character introduction, or should we just wait? I kind of just want to jump into the show because we started a little bit late today.
Yeah, we could just jump in.
Okay.
The character. I mean, the character creation video is already done and
That's true.
stuff, so people probably have seen that. So we can just in world intro the character.
Okay, cool. And then do we want to handle all the stuff that happened last episode in terms of like leveling up and all that stuff? When do you want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you need to do that now.
Okay, you want me to do that
sort
now?
your shit
All right.
out. Yeah, because there's the amount of time that it would have taken you to travel back to Baya Monastery from the shitty hole in the ground where you almost died. So you would have had time and opportunity to level, and you're the only one that had level stuff to do, right?
Yeah.
Because now all three
Yeah, I
of you are
think
level
the
4.
rest of us are. Yeah, he's the only one who just hit level 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I will bump my wisdom up to 18.
Oh, okay. So no feet. You're gonna take.
Yeah,
the-
we're not
the
going to do
boost.
feet. We're going to do the wisdom bump.
Okay.
My spells go up level 2 spells for 3. My HP goes up to, what is it? 24 plus 7, so 31. So my maximum.
You're taking the
Yep.
the base.
I'm just sticking with the character and just sticking with the normal average. And then you gave me. You want to explain what you gave me for people out there? So
Yeah. So you decided you're gonna go with the broom.
I think so. It just allows me to fly 30 feet around or whatever.
Yeah, let me introduce you to the broom of flying. So in the last episode, all the characters received a magical boon from a mysterious talisman of indeterminate
did.
origins. And Berg gained the ability to drain life during his rages. He can
Yeah.
sap the strength from his enemies. We'll talk about Dan's cool new friend in a second, but JP chose the broom of flying, and so rather than give out the magic item, I wanted it to be an intrinsic element of his character. So when our Kenku friend speaks the word of command, he then begins to hover. And can travel at a flying speed of 50 feet per round if he's carrying less than 200 pounds of gear, which includes himself. So, like, if he were to take off his armor and just carry a limited amount of stuff, he could fly at 50. But for the most part, he's going to be able to fly around at 30 feet per round, as though he were riding a broom of flying. Now, the broom of flying has you can send the broom to travel alone somewhere within 1 mile of you. If you speak the command word, name the location, or are familiar with that place. I feel like that doesn't so much apply if it's part of you, but I guess like if you wanted to, you could just be like,
Yes.
magic, take me to this place, and then just have a nap while it flies you there.
If I have the auto drive,
You have autopilot.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
you have autopilot.
I'm a
so-
Tesla Kinku, apparently. I've got autopilot. Great.
Yeah, you're one of those self-flying Kenku.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so now you're able to fly around. And I don't believe that there's no time limit on the flight. It just requires that you speak the command word.
Okay.
And speaking a command word requires only that you are able to speak. It doesn't take an action because neither do speaking, but it does require that you can speak. So if you're silenced, you can't fly.
Okay.
Unless you're already flying, then you can fly through a silent space. It's just activating the flight requires a thing.
Great.
Yeah, cool.
I'll figure out what the command word is then in due time.
Yeah, and now, like many other birds, you can fly.
Great.
And you took for yours, Dan. You took a first level wizard spell. Which first level wizard spell did you choose, Dan?
I chose Find Familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came out of the cave and we rested the first time, I started I felt this knowledge of this spell out of nowhere, and I just knew how to cast it. And when I was starting to cast it, I was summoning the form of an owl, and everything was going just fine. And when you do the Summon Familiar spell, a spirit comes down and starts to connect with the body, which is just a husk. But just before the soul got in there, I was holding Bowder at the time, and it started just glowing, and then something shot out and went into the husk instead of the soul. And the soul that was going to go in there flew away. So now my familiar has the soul of Bowder inside of it. We'll see what that does.
Yeah, well, I will be looking forward to you using it.
Wait, is it going to be like this the whole time, you guys, or no?
Yes, the entire time.
Yeah.
If there is an opportunity for a pun, it'll happen.
I gotta go.
They're limited to like 2 or 3 a show. I promise.
We try really hard not to do that too much, but it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah.
Cool. So you have a familiar. What is the familiar? We've seen if you've been watching the show for a while, we saw there was a character who had a familiar, a Bloodhawk for a while. It seemed like the primary use of the familiar is to grant advantage.
Pretty much, and you can use it as scouting and flying around because you can see through the eyes of a familiar, so you can send it up in the air and have scout around with it. It's more of a utility in combat, more giving advantage to yourself or someone else.
Yeah. And the owl operates on. Does it have its own initiative, or does it work on yours if it's a familiar?
It rolls its own initiative.
Okay, cool. And it gives you. It has advantage on. It's got keen hearing and sight. It has 1 hit point, and it doesn't provoke opportunity attacks as long as it's flying, which is cool. So you can have it.
Yeah, and enemies can kill it, but if they do, then that's 1 less attack on the party. So, just
very true.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you have your powers sorted out. And yeah, the last time we saw you, y'all were headed back to the road with the drugs in tow. You have the weird fungal scrapings, and you were bringing those back to town at the behest of a particular Earth Genasi gangster, who I think in this episode is the first thing that we see. I think that the episode begins with a slow fade up of both video and audio, and we hear the faint clinking of teacups, maybe the sound of water boiling, people sort of shuffling as the scene comes into view. We see that tea house that we saw before. We can hear the faint chirping of the birds in the cages over the red lacquered tables. But this time the tea house is completely clear of people. Maybe we can see that there are some guards in the black outfits of the Thirsty Devils, basically keeping people out of the tea house, like blocking the door, keeping the place clear for a meeting. And we see at one of the tables, sitting with a bowl of rice. Probably like a whole roast chicken, several like bowls of sauce, and a couple of different kinds of tea. We see the mighty form of the gangster, grasping hands, leader of the Thirsty Devils. He is in mid meal with an old friend and business associate of his. And we see your character, Morgan. What's your character's name? And you want to give us a short description?
Nakana Inu, and I so I have a snake half body, and then I have a snake bottom half. Snake bottom half.
Like a snake made? Okay.
I'm upset that I was born without snakes for hands. as one would be, obviously.
Mhm.
But I did feel a lot of prejudice from my people that I wasn't snake-like enough. So I'm definitely a little sensitive about it. So maybe you guys shouldn't maybe bring that up because I'm a little sensitive. But I do have a snake tongue and a half of a snake body.
Nice. And so you're having a meal with an old friend. His name is Grasping Hands. He's a fairly well-to-do sort of. I mean, he wouldn't call himself a crime lord, but he runs a gang. But he would consider them a religious organization in a monastery town, kind of on the southern edge of the Court of Coins. How do you know Grasping Hands? Like where did the two of you meet? Have you been friends for long, or?
Yeah, we've been friends for a long time. We have kind of wandered a little bit of the road together, getting up to no good and also suffering a little bit together. So we definitely have a little bit of a bond.
Oh, okay. So in his younger days, back before he kind of settled
Yeah.
and got organized here, that's cool.
When we were all searching for a little something, those youthful wandering days.
Yeah, he probably took the money that y'all made in your misbegotten adventures and started his current organization with that seed money. So
Also,
yeah,
I would like to say that I just to like really set the scene, I am eating my food whole. I'm swallowing it whole because that's the sneaky thing to do.
Whole roast chicken just down the
I don't
gullet.
I don't take bites.
Do
I
you
don't
just
take
have like a
bites.
giant bulge in your neck from the giant chicken?
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
not gonna be able to adventure for like at least 2 months, you guys. Like my stomach is full.
well, yeah, I mean, I love the idea that like he's got like a roast chicken and like sauce and vegetables and stuff, but you've probably just got like several small birds in a cage that you're just reaching into and like eating live.
Yup, yum
and
yum
it-
yum.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't bother him.
It's the
as
snake version of the ortolan.
Yeah, totally. And so you've come to to seek his help because there's been a discovery in the jungle to the north of here in the last little while, and you and I talked a little bit about the sort of nature of this place. How much of it have you shared with your old gangster friend, or do you just have an opportunity for him to get involved in?
No, I mean I've shared my backstory about how I was kicked out of my society, and they basically thought and hopefully still think that I'm dead. And so I'm looking, it's like sort of that dream, that pie in the sky dream, that like it would be great to start my own society under my own rules, because they didn't like my constant evangelizing that what they were doing was wrong. So it would be great to like get my own place under my own rules, and then maybe I think they probably killed all my children that they know about. I would like to maybe see if any had survived after I left, and get them to come in too, because
Yeah, so there's an opportunity for that, but obviously you need allies, you need friends to help you go and clear this place out. Plus, also you got some competition. You're not the only one who's aware of the ruins that you've discovered. There's a group. They operate out of probably the biggest city in the area. It's a week's travel to the north of here. It's a city called Shangbi, and it's like a mid-sized town, and there's a company there called the Scarlet Banner, the Scarlet Banner Trading Company, and they also have discovered the ruins in the jungle and have been sending expeditions out to explore them and to kind of take control of them for themselves.
those are mine.
Yeah, and so you've turned to your old friend, Grasping Hands, for help, and I think that you've just sort of explained your predicament to him, and we see him, and for your visual imaginings, Grasping Hands is a huge dude, like sumo wrestler, like Maori, like big dude, dark skin. He wears fine silk, like a martial artist's outfit. And he's an earth genasi, so he's part earth elemental somewhere in his lineage. So you can see like along the edges of his brow, along his knuckles, there are sort of rocky protrusions, and he has a kind of slow, ponderous demeanor to him. But like the mighty mountain, you've seen his temper, and when he erupts, it's a bad time. But now, he's entertaining an old friend, and so he's in a jovial mood, and he's drinking this from this tea that he's had brought out, and he's listening quietly to your story, and he nods and he smiles when you finish the story, and he says, "I have been having trouble with the Scarlet Banner myself, but I think I have just the fools to help you." And I think that at that point, the guards let in the other three, still dirty from the road and from their long stint underground. And for Morgan's sake, and for a reminder for all of us, Max, Dan, and JP, do you want to describe your characters as you're led into the tea house? You've been standing outside. The guards are like, no, just hold on, wait. Grasping Hands will see you in a minute. And then finally they're like, okay, go on in, and you're allowed in. What do they see?
Who wants to go first?
I think Dan would walk in first, as he's kind of
All right.
the leader of the troop.
My character walks in. His name's Azrael, and he looks human, but he almost looks too perfect. Like his features are very perfect. He has wonderful blonde hair, and it's because he's an Asari, so he's part angel. But to the common man, you wouldn't know it exactly that he was part angel, but some people can pick it out. But yeah, I'm half angel. I'm an Asari, and I'm a very big dude I'm in a full plate armor right now with a giant two-handed sword, and I'm a paladin, so I'm a very, very, very stern, and I don't give a lot of emotion. I'm not very jovial, and I walk in with just a serious demeanor to my look as I'm walking in.
Yeah, and do you have an owl perched on your shoulder?
Right now it's dismissed and
okay, it's in sword form. Okay.
Yeah.
We should also note that it's
because I'm still hungry.
Okay.
Yeah, I see this giant snake and I don't want to get the owl nearby.
Don't worry. The main course is coming up.
We should exactly. We should also note you're an Asmar, not a blue person from a space planet.
It would be cool if you were an Asari, though. I mean,
Yeah,
You have
so
Mass
I've
Effect
been
on the
playing-
brain, apparently.
Calm down,
I've
Max.
been playing a lot of Mass Effect.
Berg would
Sorry.
suddenly take very much interest.
Asimar, I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Yeah, the Aasimar are. I think that your people, they don't really care much for the bureaucracy of heaven. Humans and dwarves mostly pay fealty to the major arcana, and they have this religious structure they pay fealty to. But y'all got your own religion. You would recognize him as being a celestial entity, but whether you give a shit about that or not would definitely be up to you. They're known also as Tianxi, and basically everywhere that Azrael goes, peasants are falling over themselves to look at him and touch him and talk to him. But yeah, so you walk in first, and what's your demeanor? Are you bickering with the others? Are you striding in confidently?
I'm striding in confidently, not as I don't want to ever show any emotion around grasping hands. I just keep a very, very stern, just blank expression. I don't want to give him any clues as to anything about me. I'm trying to keep my distance from him in that way. So I just walk in with a serious look in my face.
Okay. Berg, are you next, or is
Yeah, I'll probably trail behind him. Berg is a 7'1" half orc with one broken, half worn down tusk. He has two of them. One of them is broken from long battle. Protruding from his half plate armor that he has is the remnants in the top part of a giant X marking. It's like a branding, almost like you'd see on a slave. And he's currently adorned with a was it a tiger mask? Is that what it was?
it's a celestial
Wolf
dog.
mask, right? Or dog? Yeah, celestial dog. That's what it was. So kind of a celestial dog mask that's covering his face. So he kind of looks a little ridiculous when you look at his face. But other than that, he's big, he's hulking. Just from the look of him, you wouldn't really think massive amounts of intellect. But he does look very dangerous. His armor is battered. He has many just scars and dirt and stuff, having just gone through a big undertaking underground, and he's kind of just lumbering along. And you can tell he knows how to handle himself as far as combat goes.
Yeah, Berg carries a hammer of ancient make as well.
Yeah.
Your eye is drawn to it almost immediately. It's a big etched steel hammer with some kind of like battle scene drawn on the side of it. And then taking up the rear.
Maybe this catches your eye more quickly because you're actually eating bird at the moment. But you see a giant bird. It's about 5'2", walk in, wearing some scale mail, and I probably walk in the door right behind Berg, but something catches my eye, and I'd stop for a second, then just start staring at it. Something shiny is going on in the room, so I'm just staring at that until someone like either maybe Berg comes back and like grabs me to move forward or something, or I'm just standing there the entire time if no one grabs me. But yeah, just a black feathered bird with scale mail on, a crossbow on his back, a rapier on his side. It's just a fucking giant bird. I don't know how to describe it any other way than that.
Do you have your is your holy symbol like out and visible?
It's around my neck. Yeah. There's
okay.
a pair of cast iron wings around my neck, around like a simple silver chain around my neck.
Yeah. So despite being a bird creature, this thing wears the holy markings of a cleric of the one of the human religions. And I think that you get the impression too, looking at it, all of its equipment seems like piecemeal. Like it's not like even the scale mail isn't one suit. It's like bits and pieces from different things. All of his stuff looks stolen. So this group comes in, and I think that one of the guards. I guess you guys see that the room is empty. This once bustling tea house is empty, aside from your patron and this woman sitting across from him.
Nobody wanted to watch us eat, apparently.
Yeah. Well, he's conscious of the fact that maybe you would not be that well received, and though you're a competent sorceress in your own right, I think
everybody wants to be a snake person.
that's why they hate you so much, because they just want to be you.
They're just jealous haters.
Yeah. Stupid mammals. And so you've had an escort, and he's been kind of like taking care of you while you're in town, just to avoid that kind of trouble. So these bumpkins don't bother you. But yeah, so he says, I think I know just the fools to help, and then lets these three in. And the guards kind of like escort the three of you over to the table. And because he is polite, Grasping Hands stands up. And I guess, Azrael, you're the first one to reach the table, and he bows to you, but very, very slightly. Obviously, he knows he's your superior. And he says, in his rumbling voice, he says, "Welcome back." And he casts a glance with his gray eyes over at Berg. "You look a bit worse for wear. Everything went well, I hope."
Berg just lets out a rumble of his own, just...
And so
I take one of the samples we got, one of the jars, throw it on the table. I'm like, there it is.
I assume you throw it gently.
Gently, not so it
Shrugs go everywhere.
Yeah, he just sets it down.
Exactly.
Just enough, to get it on there,
You throw the urn full of drug dust on the table, and it blows up, and everybody gets high as fuck. Welcome to the party. So you toss this urn, and I think that it lands in front of you, and you can see it's just a plain kind of clay urn, and it bears the trademark of the Scarlet Banner Trading Company on the side. So this is a familiar sigil to you. These people have been a thorn in your side for some time. And he turns to you, Grasping Hands, and says, "I sent these three out into the jungle. There have been some problems in the monastery of late. A new supply of some substance coming into my town." And he kind of gives you a look like that he did this because he runs the drug trade around here, not some other jerks. But he's kind of giving you that like play along, like eyebrow, like I'm lying to these guys.
Whatever you say, boss, 100%.
And he turns to Azrael, and he says, "I will have my alchemists look over it, make sure that it's not dangerous." And he gestures for one of his servants to take the urn and to go. He looks over at you, Jubilant Black Ale, and he says, Did you find anything else?
I remember and maybe put my hand on one of the other vials in my bag, and then just look at them and just shake my head in disgust.
All right, why don't we have make a deception roll to see
Great.
if how this goes?
Great.
No, boss, we didn't find any more drugs.
Is it opposed? Is that how this works?
Yeah, I'll roll his insight. And,
Okay. Roll first, so I know what I have to beat.
Okay.
It's more dramatic that way.
Mm-hmm.
See his wisdom. All right, he's distracted. You don't have to do too well. Let's see how you're a good liar. This is your jam.
Oh, we
right?
tie.
Oh,
A tie. I think ties go to the defender, which in this case, you're trying to defend your lie from being noticed. So I think maybe he's suspicious of you, not necessarily any more than usual, but yeah, it gives you a look like, as you say. He turns back to, I guess he turns to Berg and he says, you look like you've seen action. Was the place well guarded? How invested are they in this operation? Where are these substances coming from? Tell me what you know.
Guarded well enough. Not a problem for us.
And he grins. He says, "Good, good. I have more work for you." And he turns. And have you Nakino, have you just been like chowing down on sparrows the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So with
Seems like stuff between them. I don't need to get involved.
Yeah, with a broad sweep of his mighty arm, he gestures to you, and he says to the rest of you, sit. I'll have them bring tea. And he like waves for his servants. They're always ready to bring stuff. So they're bringing over cups and pots of tea, and he gestures for you to sit at the.
I kind of cover the fact that I'm eating birds because awkward a little bit.
Yeah, it zooms in on my fist on the side of my, and it just clenches.
Your little talon fist.
Yeah, a little talon fist clenches.
A little tear comes down your face.
When the new PC eating your people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you all sit, and he says this is an old friend of mine, Naka. These are some new friends. Azrael, Berg, Jubilant Black Gale. They, like me, are interested in the well-being of the people of Baya. And he smiles beatifically, like right at you, Azrael. And he says they have certain skills I think would be helpful for you in retrieving what you desire. And he turns to Azrael and he says, Naka has brought me an opportunity. These ruins are part of something larger, something old. And I worry that this trading company is only beginning their expansion into the jungle. I would like you to go with her and investigate. Protect her. Do as she demands. Serve her as you would me. And he smiles like that's a thing that he could just expect you to do.
Well, if there's evil, simply point me towards it, and I shall destroy it.
He nods. Yes. Plenty of evil to smite, I think, Azrael. But of course, you'll need some time to rest. And he looks back at Battle Damage Berg, and he says, take a day or two, get acquainted. And then he reaches, and this is a thing that he does where he's trained his servants so well that they can almost read his mind, in that he reaches back and someone just puts a scroll in his hand and he just puts it on the table. And he says, while you were away, some informants of mine indicated, and he pulls the scroll open, and you can see a little map of the area, and there's the jungle and the monastery, and he's got some little markings on the map of potential sites where he may be able to strike back at this trading company. And he points to one of them and he says, one of the Scarlet Banner's foremen is living in a village here. He taps it. He says, it's quite close to Changbi, so you'll have to be careful. But if you could obtain him for me, we could find out more. And he kind of grins at you, Berg, and then at Nakayino, and he says, "Find him and bring him back alive, or as close to alive as you can manage. I'll put my interrogators to the task." And he stands and kind of like brushes. He's got some like crumbs on his vest. He brushes them off gently, and he says, "If you have any questions, speak with my major domo. I have business to attend to uphill." And he bows, and he bows once to the three of you, and it's more like just a head nod. And then he bows quite deeply to Nakino, and then and stands and turns, and despite his bulk, moves with a fluid grace out to the street and away. And so now the four of you are around this table, and you're being brought food and drink, and you're able to rest here.
I switched to rodents. I felt like that would be much more polite.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So someone brings you like rodent under glass. It's like a ceramic plate with a glass dome, and there's a bunch of mice.
It's a delicacy.
Yeah, there's a bunch of mice in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so you can see the map is laid out on the table amidst all of these sort of objects, and and you can see kind of where he's expecting you to go. But the details and what you need to do before then, that's all up to you.
I think at this point, Berg has removed his mask and like had just a little bit of food out of, not even so much that he wants to eat Grasping Hands food. It's just he needs to eat. The food is there. So he just takes off the mask, and as he's eating, I think he's like just drinking and like just staring at this new creature, just going like that kind of blank face, and at the others, waiting for them to.
And this
I
table.
think we should take tonight off, you guys.
There you go. Snake Lady knows how to party. This table is quite low, and I guess I want to know if anyone notices this. The table is quite low, right? Like you're sitting on the floor, you're sitting on pillows. Most of you cross-legged. Has anyone noticed that Nakino is half Snake Lady yet? Like, are you hiding your tail under the table, or is it just like whoever sits near you?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I noticed the first thing. That was the first thing I noticed when I walked in the room, and she was eating giant ravens or crows or whatever.
anybody could eat a bird whole, but
just how she was eating them, I knew.
But
that it was
only a certain few do it well.
That's true. Yeah. So what do you say, Morgan? You say you want us to take
Yeah,
the
I think
night
it's
off?
noticeable because I'm gonna have some scales too on my body. So yeah, I mean, it looks like you guys might want to rest. I mean, we can take a look at the map and see how far the journey is, get some information on that, so we just know what kind of supplies that we need to bring. But you guys, I'm trying to be the cool boss.
Well, I Azra reaches across the table and hands the map to you and is like, "Well, madam, you know this place better than us. What should we do?" And hand you the map to form a plan.
Sweet, let's take a peek.
Yeah, so the map illustrates the sort of jungle area between the northern ridge of the Shulin Valley and Changbi City, which is the sort of biggest, southmost city of the Court of Coins. The jungle region has predominantly been kind of left alone because it's very dangerous and full of poisonous things and monsters and what have you. But of late, the Scarlet Banner has been making inroads into exploring it, and they've come across some things that maybe you would like them not to have, such as ruins and the treasure therein. And the general vicinity of what you need the players to do. But in the conversation that you had with Grasping Hands, he said that it would be prudent to give the Scarlet Banner a reason to leave before you start digging around yourselves. So this would be that. This would be like hitting the Scarlet Banner where they live. They've got little outposts throughout the jungle, kind of exploratory outposts, and the one that he set out. It looks like it's for you guys that just returned from the jungle. It's about a 3 or 4 day trip to that road, and then basically just going straight out into the woods. If you wanted to try to take a stealthy approach, it would take longer. If it's a direct approach, you could probably find the road that they use and travel that. The whole thing would take probably just over a week from here to there.
What how heavily guarded do we think? Like, what kind of resistance are we expecting to run into?
Not they don't have like a military presence because they're not officially, backed by the Court of Coins military or anything, but they do have a decent amount of resources. They do a lot of naval trade. But now they're sort of branching out into inland stuff, and they've made a good amount of money trading with the Court of Cups. So they can probably afford soldiers and what have you. But you probably wouldn't expect like stone walls or anything. It isn't a fort. It would just be a staging town.
So I mean, we don't exactly blend in. Just throwing that out there. So it seems like potentially the stealthy approach might be a little like a waste of time.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
You're
We
the boss.
can do stealth. It's possible. It's usually very difficult for us.
Yeah, like we're all in like heavy armor, and every time we try, it just
Every
goes
time we
really
have like,
bad.
there's always one of us that rolls poorly, even if
It's
the
like
others manage it.
you can hear you guys coming from like 6 miles away with just
Yeah.
like clink, 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 clink. Yeah. I mean, so what do you guys think about doing just a front approach? I mean, I kind of hate that idea, but I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Before we're just kind of planning on how we want to attack it. Right, we're still in the town. We have done,
Yeah. But it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, just like weave through the back rows or just like get some horses. I actually probably can't ride a horse. Let's be real. Maybe
I feel like the horse would like freak out. if you tried to.
maybe you could pull me along in like a little cart.
Yeah, we'll get you like a little sled that just kind of gets pulled
That would
along.
be super dignified.
Yeah, totally. We'll put some crickets in there, a nice hot rock.
Yeah,
for
a
you to lay on.
couple rodents.
Yeah. So do you guys want to just take the road?
You could actually ride a horse if it's a thing that you want to do. Also, Grasping Hands is going to be annoyed that you didn't bring the horses he lent you the last time back. They're out in the jungle somewhere.
You guys did not.
I think
Well, we could have.
happened.
We were never asked.
They
to be honest, to be fair, we were never asked. It was just kind of like da 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 da. You go back to the town.
They definitely
stolen?
were like stolen or the guys that
They were
the
there
guys
for a
that-
while. Yeah.
Yeah, the guys that tried to trap you in alive like fled on the horses. But you could ride side saddle on a horse if you just kind of like drape your tail like over it. And
I
are
would
turned
think you
kinda
could just
sideways.
wrap your tail around the center
I was
of the
gonna say,
horse.
yeah, depending on how long the tail is. I
I'm
don't know
pretty
how
sure the
cool
horse wouldn't be
would-
into that.
I don't think the
Yeah.
horse would
Yeah,
be
he
cool
would
with
be
that.
like,
Of course they'll be fine. We'll just give them a little gin. Just stagger down the road. Because we'll need some horses to get our little friend back too. Because
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
you know,
How far away is it? Like
You said it was a week, right?
A week.
Yeah,
we
if
definitely
you go by road, around a week. A little
Yeah, we
longer if you go and
a
stuff.
week round trip.
Is it round trip week?
No, it's a week out and a week back.
Yeah, I think it's pretty far away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Before
so
we-
should get some horses.
Do anything? Are we gonna try to make good on our seeing about health pots thing?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We need to go buy some health pots. We also need to go have our fortunes read.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
we're gonna
true.
need that too.
Yeah.
I am
So-
pro health pot.
Okay, so it's been
How long were we
Let's see.
gone? Also,
you've been gone about a week.
okay.
So I think inflation is still where it's at. Your reputation for being like, people with money is
Shit.
still present. So yeah, prices are still going to be inflated for you. You're going to have to spend a little longer away from town.
Let's just do
before
some
this-
intimidation checks, please.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing. You could just go boss people around and be like, no. But yeah, there's still this idea like when you return to town, the merchants all start looking at you like, ooh, the adventurers have come back. Like, good, excellent. Now maybe they'll buy some stuff at my shop. And I actually think that it is affecting your like reputation in this part of town. People know that you work for Grasping Hands. They know you have thousands, or assume that you have thousands of gold to throw around. So when you do come back to town, the merchants are like, Tianxi, look at this beautiful silk, and like
You see them like as we stroll
trying
through
to-
town with
yeah.
replacing signs and stuff. Like it is now this much.
yeah, adventurer pricing is.
I
Still,
mean,
still very
can I go?
Yeah, I mean you could also try and go. That you don't have a rep yet.
That's true. We should send you out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine. Just send
And we have to give her our money.
We do have to give her our money. Shit.
Yeah.
I want something better from you guys, though, so I'm not going to run off with the money.
Adam, what would be our inflated price for a health potion?
I think you're looking at like currently 3 times normal price, so 150 gold a piece.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's send her. Let's send her.
Villagers suck. It's true. Yeah.
I think that's probably a conversation that we have with her. Berg doesn't because he's not smart enough to come up with this on his own.
Yeah, like, madam, we need to restock, but these merchants seem to have a just sudden increase in price since we've arrived. It might help if you were to remind them how upset Grasping Hands would be if his friends were overcharged for such merchandise.
I think I can take care of that. Nobody likes being tapped on the shoulder by a snake tail. Bink, bink, bink. That creeps everybody out. All right, how many we want?
So what would be the normal price then, Adam? It's
They're
3
normally
times
they're normally 50 for
50, right?
like a
Yeah.
regular health potion, but you can't just like have as many as you want. It's not a
We
city.
buy 20 health
Exactly.
potions.
Just a double bandolier. Yeah, the thing about like special goods is they're like kind of hard to come by in anywhere. Even in Changbi, like you'd be hard pressed to get more than a few of them because they take a lot of time and a lot of material. And 50 gold is a lot to a person. So you'd have to go to an alchemist. There aren't really any available in the lower part of the city. So you'll have to take a trip up to the middle or the upper tier. And shop around up there. But yeah, normally they're 50, and you have to just go out and try to try to see what's available in the market.
They heal for 2d4. What is normal one is 2d4, right, Adam?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where are you guys
potion-
staying?
That's a great question.
Sorry.
Well,
No, it's a really good question. Please answer the question, Dan.
well, we're currently renting an apartment in town above a tea shop.
Above a lovely old man who runs it and is blind.
Currently just one small empty room, and it's ours, so we love it.
Didn't you pick up another piece of like furniture or trophy or something for your apartment?
Oh yeah, we have a trunk now.
We did. Which was it?
We need to make a
yeah,
list.
yeah.
Oh, where did that trunk come from? Because I think you were gonna get it, and then you had to crawl out through the scorpion hole.
Yeah,
Oh,
unless
yeah,
it was left in the camp, then we didn't get it. Yeah.
It was left in
And
the
let's
camp,
not
yeah.
forget we have that.
It was in the camp, so yeah, you could have brought it back.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, we definitely brought it back.
All right,
As
your
far as,
apartment now has 2 objects in it. It has an old shield on the wall and
an
a
old
trunk.
crack shield.
Yeah, and a trunk. Good
It's
stuff.
cozy. It's a minimalist kind of approach.
Yeah.
We surround ourselves with things that make us comfortable, and that is a trunk and a shield. But yeah, that's where we're staying. However,
All
it does
right.
have the nice, wafting of tea smells from below, so that's nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's true. Trying to think how much gold do we have, Dan?
Yeah, Dan,
1800.
1,800.
Hmm.
We should buy at least 4 pots
Okay.
and get them marked
if
down.
possible, yeah, if we can
Yeah.
even.
It would be good to have emergency healing.
Yeah.
Not
So-
rely on them, but yeah, that would be nice to have a slightly backup plan other than just like, well, I hope we tank everything and everything goes well.
Right. Okay, yeah. So I think we start heading towards the other part of town, Adam. The 4 of us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna head up to.
Do we-
head up next part.
Do we own this apartment now?
Yes,
like, is he,
you've
now
purchased-
that we've worked for him, like he's just like fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's still kind of like leverage, but for the
Yeah.
most part, yeah. Like, I
He's
mean,
not
you're
like
you're
knocking
paying
on the
rent.
door, being like, "Hey, by the way."
Yeah. I think us working for him is paying our dues, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have your little 1-room apartment for the 3 of you. Cool. Okay. So you want to go ahead and find like an apothecary who can sell you something in the upper part of town. And you're not going. You're not all going, right? You're sending Nakino to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Cool. Well, I think it's easy enough to find. Just for everybody's sake, so the town, Baya Monastery Town, was originally a monastery built up on the kind of top of this mountain peak overlooking the valley. And then, as more people came to study at the feet of the great master, they built a full temple in the upper part, and then places for people to live as the town got lower and lower. And then more merchants came to sell things to the people that worshipped the gods here and who worked at the monastery. And so the town is like predominantly like scholars, priests, and monks in the upper part of town. And then there's kind of like a noble, like merchant class that lives in the highest tier. And then there's like just a regular town kind of around the base of this mountain. And the higher up you go, the nicer things get. And then there's sort of the Forbidden Palace, which is the very top of the mountain where the abbot lives and kind of runs the town. Y'all are in a fine apartment in the very lowest part of the city. But that's where the 12-fold Thirsty Devils kind of run the show. So you're at least in with the guy who runs this place. You can go up and down as you like. You don't have authorization to visit the like upper parts of the city, the very highest parts, but the rest of it is sort of public domain. You're just going to get scowled at for being up there and being dirty adventurer types. But all the nice stores are there. So. I think that if you head up to that part of the town, you can find a high class apothecary who sells various herbs and substances for assisting in transcendence, right? Like the rich would come here and buy special oils that they can burn, incense, that sort of thing, to help them achieve the spiritual peace they so desire.
That's what I told the cop too.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, there aren't really any cops here, right? Like no one. There's no law exactly, which is why a gang runs the lower city. But also, everything that is, all things are made by the gods, and such all things are permitted, and and people are responsible for their own shit, and don't cross powerful people is really the only rule.
AKA, it's from the earth, man.
That's right. Yeah. So, in addition to buying healing potions, if you want like opium or whatever, it's available to you. But it is expensive, these healing potions. So, why don't we have you, why don't we have you make a roll, to see how available this stuff is?
Okay.
Let me see. I think probably it'll just be a persuasion roll. And to do that, if you just pop open your character sheet, find on the skill list and click it, you're good to go. Oh yeah, 15, no problem. So, yeah, you find a shop, and it's a fine, clean, like stone, like building kind of built into the side of the mountain, and there is a scholar there. He's a young man. He comes from the Court of Coins, and he is happy to serve you and makes no mention of your scales or slitted eyes or tail, and shows you a good number of his wares before, and trying to like entice you to buy perfumes and incenses before you're like, how do you treat this merchant? Like you're alone in his shop. He's got security outside, but he welcomes you in. He's showing you around. What do you like in his presence?
I treat him as a friend. But I quickly turn from the perfumes, saying that I'm not interested in such things, but thank you for showing them to me. And I am wondering what other wares you might have that may help an adventurous young woman on her way.
He smiles, and he says, "The world is a dangerous place, my lady."
I agree, my friend.
Let me show you what I have to keep you safe. And he brings you to a cabinet, and he's got a bunch of like vials there, and I think he has a selection of unguents and ointments for protecting you from common illnesses, poultices against disease or poison. And then he shows you at the end he has a few vials of a kind of blood red liquid, and he says, "These are my finest work. In the awful circumstances that the fates were to find you in harm's way. These potions can heal you of an arrow shot, a spear wound, the taste of a blade. They are truly magical. And he kind of gestures at them. He's got these like long, like golden, like lacquered fingernails. He's very, very cultured, this guy. And and he shows you. And I think that he has available. Let's see how many he's got. He has 5 of them. They're laying on a velvet pillow. And he shows them to you. And he says, if you were to befall harm, this could be the difference between life and death.
How much are you looking to get for them, my friend? Or how much are you looking to get for one? They are a bit dear.
He nods and he says, these are the product of many weeks of hard labor, of paying men to venture into deepest jungle to retrieve strange flowers and herbs for their ingredients. I could not part with them for less than 100 pieces of gold each. And you know he's highballing you for sure, because they're not worth that.
Adventurers definitely need such fine goods, but I feel, my friend, that you are not giving me an honest price. And when one is doing the work of such an esteemed gentleman, he would not like to hear that his friends and his partners in this endeavor are not being treated as fairly as they could be.
And he grins and says, but my lady, an honest merchant is so often a poor merchant. But for you, I suppose I could lower my prices. If you were to buy the entire set, and he like gestures like grandiosely, he says a mere 300 gold.
I'll do it for 250, and I'm out of here with no.
Yeah, and he I think do you like take the money out, or you're like, bam, 250, or get the fuck out of here? How aggressive are you gonna be with this guy?
I mean, how aggressive am I going to be, or how aggressive am I starting out?
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess that's the thing. Like, basically, if you say now, and I think you with this 15, if you say now, just like, I'll give you 250, he'll agree, pretending like he's being very dearly hurt.
Yeah.
But the transaction will enact. Now, if you want to push on him, we could make another roll. You could haggle. We could try to get him down, but that could go worse for you, and he might like stick on a higher price. It's up to you. You can take the potions for the 250.
I feel like 250. I mean, I probably should have talked about this with the boys earlier about what they would decide a fair price would be. But 5 potions for 250, I think, is fine.
Now, I would also like to remind you and the world at large that as a member of your esteemed species, you do have the ability to gaze deeply into his eyes and bend his will to your purposes. And I think it occurs to you while you're haggling with this guy, some atavistic part of you kind of comes to the fore. You're like, I could just tell you you could literally just charm him and be like, give them to me for nothing. It occurs to you that is possible.
But how high do I have to roll to make that bad boy happen?
So if you use your suggestion ability, you can suggest a course of action, such as, why don't you give them to me for free?
All right.
And if he gets to make a wisdom saving throw on a failed save, he pursues the course of action you suggest to the best of his ability. And that's that. And suggestion, unlike friendship or like a charming ability, he won't realize afterwards that it was magical. He would just be like, I wonder why I did that. That doesn't seem like a good business decision. But it's his. He would think of it as his choice.
But this is my once a day. But we're about to go to bed, so
exactly. Yeah.
All right, let's. I'm going to suggest to him that because he cares so much about his fellow man, he would not want us to go out into the wilderness unprotected. So he would just really appreciate giving that to us for
And what does that look like? Like when we imagine if this is a scene where even if he's not aware of it, we as an audience would see you using your magic power. Do we get like, you know, a faint sort of hissing in the soundtrack? Do your eyes glow? What do we see when he kind of like he weaves a little like stares into your eyes?
Little squinty eyes, a little extra hissing, a little extra snake tongue sticking out.
Yeah. And so you see him like blink and kind of get a little like druggy. And why don't we take a break here and I'll make his wisdom save when we get back. We'll see how it goes. Okay.
Adam, I've taught you well. It's taken over 100 episodes of shows, but you've now fucked YouTube on your own. I'm so proud. Let's go and take our first break here. So I got 3 hours left to go on this week's Court of Swords. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more show. We'll see you then.